Well, it looks like Big Bad Toy Store gave us a big reveal here in a pre-order on their website. Something that we didn't expect, but we kind of knew was going to be coming. But now people have had different opinions on what it possibly could be outside of the obvious. So what are we talking about here? On their pre-order page, they have a image here for a coming soon MP-49 Black Convoy. Now, most people would right away go, well, Proto Man, of course. It's a black repaint of MP-44 Optimus Prime, aka Convoy. It's got to be that, right? Well, that's what a lot of us think. And you would think that completely, but a lot of people are also leaning at the fact that this is the first time that we've had a black repaint of Optimus Prime, and the numbering system that is normally done for Masterpieces is done differently. What I'm getting at exactly is every Optimus Prime, whether it be MP-01 or MP-10, the one that we got later, always when they did the black repaint, it had a B for it. MP-01B, MP-10B for the black repaints. Whenever we have something where you have a repaint of a character, if it's the same character, they just add a letter after it. If it's a mold that's the same, but the character is different, they change the number. Case in point, MP-02, a white repaint of the Optimus Prime, was Ultra Magnus. Another case in point, any of the Datsuns. Whenever they're repainted or retooled, it's a different character. Any of, like even Lambor. Lambor, when he got repainted into Red Alert, it's a different number. So instead of it being MP-44B, we have an MP-49 Black Convoy, which is making a lot of people go, oh my God, is this going to be a new mold? Is this going to be Car Robots, aka Robots in Disguise Black Convoy, aka Scourge? You know what? If that is the case, I would only give you credit in the sense that if MP-49 Black Convoy did come out and it was the Scourge mold, the masterpiece version of that G2 Laser Rod Optimus Prime, it would probably come out in 2020. And if it came out in 2020, then the timing would be perfect because it would be the 20th anniversary of Car Robots, Robots in Disguise, which debuted in Japan in April of 2000. So that would kind of make sense from an anniversary standpoint. But it would also be the first time ever, in my knowledge, that the less favorable the less favorable paint job is applied to a mold. In that, it's funny how Japan would decide to go with a black repaint over, let's say, G2 Laser Rod Convoy that the mold would be originally. Obviously, it's arguable which one is more famous. I mean, Black Convoy, aka Scourge, was more famous from being one of the first ever frontline black repaints with fictional backing and animation. There was black repaints prior to that, especially evil black repaints, but this was the first time it was used in animation. And it really became a staple, for how also Black Optimus Primes in America were named, because they'd be called Scourge from that point on for the longest time. It's funny. And then, of course, Nemesis Prime became a thing later. But it's really funny how they're essentially going about this. And I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, it's obviously MP-44 Optimus Prime done in black. But then, people bring up, the fact that it says Black Convoy and that the numbering is different. And, it makes you start to question yourself. I think that the one thing, I mean, at least from my opinion, the one thing that really would seal the deal for me, number one, is this logo here. It's an Autobot logo. It's not the Deathstronger logo. It's not the Deathstron logo. It's not the Decepticon logo. It's not the upside down Autobot logo G2 that was used for Black Convoy, aka Scourge. It's an Autobot logo. So that's the first thing that kind of says, oh, it's probably just a black repaint of MP-44. The other thing is, I mean, until we see a price point, that won't tell us anything either. Because let's say this is a black repaint of MP-44, Well, then where's that $400 price point, or that 450 or 500, depending? That would tell us right away. But I mean, then again, the argument you could give is, well, obviously if they did Scourge, he's got to have his big chrome trailer too, so he would also be equally expensive. I don't know. It's very tough to make this call. But like I've said in the past, it's very rare that they would take a brand new Masterpiece mold and do the less favorable color scheme. And again, it could be debatable by perspective. But I mean, if you do the Datsun mold first, obviously you're going to start with Prowl. If you're going to do the side swipes, the Lambor mold, you're going to start with side swipe. If you're going to do the Seekers, you're going to start with Starscream. And this has always been the case with Masterpieces. It's always starting with, that favorable character. Very interesting if they want to go with a Black Convoy over a Laser Rod G2 Convoy, aka Optimus Prime. But, then again, the fiction on those two characters are very on par, because one actually was an animation and one really only had some manga and story page appearances. So this is something that really I'm going to be interested to see how it develops. And if it does happen, hey, we don't have a new G1 Masterpiece. We actually have a new G2 Masterpiece. Now the G2 Sideswipe isn't going to be lonely anymore. He's going to have he's going to actually have, an Optimus Prime to go with him, because we've had G1, we've had, tail end G1, we've had some Brave stuff from the Masterpiece Brave line, and we've had Beast Wars. There really hasn't been anything outside of that bubble. So to have some more G2 stuff to go with that Sideswipe G2 would be really nice to have. So, I mean, let me know what you think about this. This is something that's like very crazy we have to dive into. I want to give credit to a guy, Chris QQ, who provided the image for this podcast to kind of give an example of what a black MP-44 would look like, based off of the original old, black Optimus Prime G1 repaint from back in 2000, not the Scourge one, the original Japanese G1 reissue. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think it's one? Do you think it's the other? Or do you think it's something I'm not even thinking about?